Derivatives trading involves substantial risk of loss and is not suitable for all investors. Past performance is not necessarily indicative of future results.
So stressful when the world's on fire. Good God. I can't look at this, guys. Like, my strategy is you buy it and you hope that you got a good spot. Yeah, but we all think you're crazy. You don't fight this. No way. The markets are freaking out and you don't think that anything is wrong? Come back tomorrow and I'll lose it all. Should be fun. I felt a great disturbance in the market, as if thousands of retail trader accounts cried out in terror and then suddenly turned into YouTube channels. Yeah, ugly out there. Holy crap. This stuff with, man, Apple down almost 5% at one point. Totally crazy. I guess there was a lot of pretty insane action, bullishness leading up to all of that announcement, but yeah, we had a lot of earnings, a lot of tech earnings last night. And even though a lot of them were beating on both top and bottom line estimates, it ended up being a complete disaster for the market, and we are significantly lower. So, let's go look at the damage. I feel vindicated. Like, honestly, I just feel vindicated. Like I've been saying for a long time, people paying too much for these future earnings. Okay, well, let's start over in the mini as always. So you can see here, pretty big push up. They were buying calls. It was like panic bid going into the earnings, and then what happened? Bullish, and we are lower, taking a step lower. If we were to end the week lower than 3,100, one has to wonder. Treasuries. Oh, we're getting some news, by the way. We're going to get Canadian PPIs and U.S. core PCE index. Man, I'm way late here. Let's come over here for a second. How you guys doing, by the way? Still waiting for the number. There's Canadian GDP 1.2 versus 0.9. Okay, PCE core deflator spot 2 versus the spot 2 estimate. Personal spending 1.4 versus the 1.0 estimate. Income spot 9 versus spot 4. Okay, well, the Treasury is not really reacting to it. So let's come back over here. Treasuries took a huge hit yesterday. Now, overnight, they've recovered a little bit. We had an auction, a 7-year auction, and that kind of caused this further run down, but it looks like they've been able to absorb that. We're dangerously close to pushing lower, right? And the E-minis look bad. So this is really a nightmare scenario right here, man. Treasuries and equities going down together. Pretty bum deal, right? Should expect central banks to start talking about what they're going to do. Okay, oil, of course, slaughtered yesterday. Gold actually handled it okay. So, and copper is okay too. And then the big driver back over here, the dollar pushing 94 yesterday, but a little bit lower here. That's okay. Oops. We need to restore that, not minimize it. So yeah, that's where we're at. Now for me today, I had a good week, and Fridays can be difficult. So I'm going to be a little bit more picky today about where we take trades. I don't think that I want to play at the moment, especially with the treasuries not really moving. We might take one. Well, let's see what the treasury is going to do here, because we could short the treasury, but I'm not entirely sure if that scenario is going to continue playing out or not. So, um, so do I got the new version of the Jigsaw yet? Because they were supposed to do that webinar yesterday, right? I missed it. I was working. I'm getting so many emails from Donald Trump and stuff right now. They must really need the money. Department of Justice confirmed the FBI opened an ongoing criminal money laundering investigation into Hunter Biden and his associates last year. Oi. Okay. Sure, the media will continue to ignore that one. Twitter is setting itself up as a hella short after the election. Well, they're down big, right? We're gonna see. We're the thing is sometimes those overnight moves can push further than they really should because there's no liquidity, right? The Apple was down 4%. I think that Twitter was almost getting into double digits, wasn't it? Pretty insane. And yeah, if Donald Trump wins, I don't want to be in those social media companies, no sir. Actually, I kind of not sure you want to be in social media companies regardless of who wins, because the Democrats aren't particularly happy either. Facebook, they're really mad at Facebook, right? Athiban, I fear to take trade every time. Why? Well, I don't really have that problem. So, um, you want to have a clearly defined setup. So here's what I would do. Trade it on Sim for a while, and you see your signal and you trade it. And when you're ready to go live with it, make sure that it's money that you can afford to lose. Okay. Like the question I would ask myself is, like, if I lost all of this, would I be able to come back later in the year and try again? Right. If you don't have that kind of disposable income, then futures trading is probably not for you. Anyways, and then build the habit. Okay. So, like, I think that the biggest the best defense against those kind of mental issues is habit. Habit can also be the worst culprit of things, right? That's why I have some problems. Is you'll get into a losing streak and you just keep going and going and going. Okay, but if you've built the experience, you see the signal and you take it as quickly as you can. You're just going to click. You're not even going to think about it. So that's what I would be trying to build up. Let's see here.
Sunday Driver says not worried about AAPL. Everyone waiting on new iPhones. AAPL will rebound nicely after iPhone 12 comes out.
It could, but here's the thing. I don't think that it was the iPhone sales that really hit them so much. Well, maybe you're right in China, because one of them was that the Chinese data wasn't very good. But yeah. The decline that they've had overnight is just really crazy, right? Mhm. Oh yes, I was looking to see nothing from Jigsaw. Huh? Nobody did the. Oh wait, no, that was 2 days ago. Well, I'll just have to wait. I'm sure that closer to the equities open, that maybe we'll get them. Mhm. Well, the case fatality is down. 1,000 Americans died of COVID-19 or complications from it yesterday. And then they were tagging Donald Trump. Donald Trump tweeting at the moment. 16 minutes ago, New York Times now admits that patients ill with COVID are getting better faster at a higher percentage. More testing equals more cases. We have best testing, deaths way down. Hospitals have great additional capacity, doing much better than Europe. Therapeutics are working.
Winston's mom says good morning, speculator Seth. Good morning, day traders. Are you ready for your weekend because my retirement is wonderful? It's doing nothing without worrying about getting caught.
Well, that's good. Yeah, I'm gonna probably take it pretty easy this weekend. Maybe watch the kid while my wife does some work in the garage. I had the intention of recording a bunch of stuff. Maybe I will write some things up instead of recording it. But with the eye and everything, I don't think that's gonna work out. So yesterday, I feel like I should have worked out, but I felt so stressed about it yesterday. I was kind of like feeling like I was swimming and stuff. The eye, and can you see? This is getting better. It is a little bit better, but it's mostly pooled up down in there, right? Can you see the red? The blood. I guess it's Halloween. Just in time for Halloween, right? See, I can't see it when I do it over there. Now you can see it. Can you see it? Oh my gosh. That's pretty freaky looking. And there's a lot up there above it. Actually, I should move my screen over to here. Yeah. I'm wondering if that's where I actually hemorrhaged from. And that is just over here is where it pooled. Is that day trader eye? No. I tell you, day trading can be stressful, and if there's one health tip that I can give you, it is reduce stress outside of trading as much as you can. Like that new battle royale game that you want to play, just pass. You don't need that stress in your life. But I don't know what caused it. I might have happened in my sleep. I saw you titled yesterday's video, My Eye, How Does It Feel? It feels so. I mean, I do feel a little bit of like, so sometimes my eye will get irritated. And it's like you can feel the edge of the contact, or you feel like there's something on the contact, but it's really actually the eye itself. And I can feel that up in the upper right corner. But It could be a symptom of COVID. No, I don't think so. And like I said, like the thing is that other than that, I feel normal. Like yesterday, I felt like I was swimming, and like if I stood up, I felt dizzy. I don't think that that is a sign of anything to do with this. It's probably just stress and maybe not eating well and not having exercised as much. So my blood pressure is probably a little off. It's a classic fix. So, nah, it's irritation from the contact because this contact is a little aggressive. But that helps me see a lot better. Normally it's fine. So. Biden will spend the day before the election barnstorming his native Pennsylvania. He and his team will fan out across all four corners of the state. His campaign says Trump's final day schedule is still up in the air. I don't know. I feel like that if there's anywhere that you won't be able to do anything, it's going to be Pennsylvania. I don't know what it is with this chart, but when I refresh it, it doesn't find something about it. It doesn't find the right thing. I think it's because it's a multi-series chart, but there's a bug there. Need to fix that. Walmart removes guns and ammos from store displays, citing possible looting and unrest. Oops. Okay, well, the E-minis pushing up pretty strongly here all of a sudden. Do you have a normal sense of taste and smell? Yeah. I'm pretty sure it's not COVID. I'm going to bet that I'm one of those that already has. I got really sick at the beginning of the year with something with similar symptoms to COVID and even with lingering effects long afterwards. Oh, wow. I got filled on that. Awesome.
Winston's mom says over on MSNBC they're saying that several hospital computer systems have been hacked into recently.
Sure. Well, there's a lot of valuable information in that private health information. Social security numbers for one.
Ace Trades says at Winston's mom yes, Mrs. Ace's work got hit hard.
Ace's work got hit hard. What do you think is going on here in the E-mini, huh?
Ace Trades says Mrs. Ace Trades.
Sunday Driver says time to set up your long-term portfolio. Name of the game is US dollar devaluation, upticking inflation, a US government unable to cut spending, all in a low interest rate environment.
So at the moment, I mean, so the US dollar devaluation scenario.
Ace Trades says my wife, my spouse, my main squeeze, my best friend, my lover, keeper of my heart, the one who will always be loved.
There we go. Oh, your Ace's work got hit hard. I see. She got sick, is what you're saying. Anyways, to Sunday's point, the dollar devaluation trade at the moment doesn't look all that attractive, does it? Right? Like gold continues to struggle. the dollar index has been recovering. Um, I think that dollar shorts, even though they're probably still in there, were probably not too happy with this recent rise back up. And if the election ends up hurting the market, which at this point I'm starting to feel like it could, I think that you might see further fleeing to the dollar. But then there's this bigger issue, and the thing that I find way more interesting at the moment is that the markets seem to be favoring U.S. investments over European investments, right? So we had a time period where the Europeans were doing a lot better, right? And now they're locked down. So now there's this whole question: does the U.S. lock down? If the U.S. doesn't lock down, then you get into this issue where Europeans have a much weaker fiscal situation than the United States, and then we get into this problem that we've had that's been going on for quite some time, right? Where there's a spread between the US treasuries and the German bond, and you keep getting people coming in and buying the US debt because there's nowhere else to go. And in that scenario, the deflationary theory per se doesn't necessarily work, does it? And then on the equities side, there's this problem, which is that a lot of the market leaders, all of the tech companies, Apple, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, are just really high. People are paying a lot for those future earnings. And I think that there's some fair questions about how much future growth they could actually have. And so, those parts of the portfolio that everybody has been piling into lately are unlikely to yield a whole lot. So where are you going to go? Right? And meanwhile, so you would think that you would want to go into value, right? I think. But then value hasn't necessarily been doing great. Maybe it will finally flip and do better, but I do think that there could be some opportunities here to position yourself. But which sectors you really want to go into, I'm not sure. I would prefer something that is just really untouched, super future stuff. Some of the suggestions that Gary Rich had been making to us earlier in the year, things like augmented reality and VR and stuff, I think that those could still be appealing. But probably everybody's going to be affected by the NASDAQ coming down, so we might want to see, the dust settle first, You went long based on FOMO? Well, I don't really know what's going on in the E-mini or why it's moving the way that it is right now, so I'm just kind of chilling, straighting out. Gary, what's he talking about? I'm still a bit tipsy from last night. We were talking about how you might want to position your portfolio going forward. Seth, don't go into rare earth stuff. Yeah, well, so it's interesting, Gary, because I do think at some point, right, the United States is going to have to invest more in rare earths, right? Does that mean that the rare earth stocks are going to do well? Not necessarily. It could mean that a small name might have a lot of growth in it, but I don't know if that's like somehow at some point going to become like the hot market and those stocks are going to be on fire. No. But I've been watching rare earth resources, and it appears that well, not that it appears, but I mean they're not doing so well lately. Like they did really well and they held up quite well compared to the rest of the market for a time, but then sometime last week I think it was, they kind of dipped lower and it's a pretty ugly decline. But when I'm looking for like, okay, well, why is that? Is there something wrong with this company? Is there something wrong with the rare earth space, or did something change? But it looks like that the mining sector in general is having some problems right now. So there's kind of some expectations that the demand isn't going to be there for starters, and they've been having supply issues like miners striking and things like that. And so even though prices might be even though demand might be lower, they're expecting lower prices, at least in the short term, because copper's been going down, right? So, anyways, the gist of it is that at the moment, yeah, it doesn't seem to be a very good play, because what you're getting with miners is more important, and miners is not going so well at the moment. So, I don't know. I think that if you want to do the rare earth metal sync, that it's got to be like a much, much longer play. But then you have to ask, okay, but is the price that I'm getting right now actually a good price? And I don't know if it is. But that's where I go. So the other stock that I had been watching was Sumo Logic, because I know their products and I really, really like what they're using. And but since they've IPO'd, I've kind of been watching this one as like, okay, what kind of things happen in IPOs? And they're below the IPO price. And when the NASDAQ takes a big hit, they take a big hit. And wouldn't be surprised to see them open up lower today. You know, even if it's a good company, they're like affected by the NASDAQ as a whole. So like, is that a good buy? And it's just like with any of the other things, like with VR. Well, if the whole NASDAQ is going down, probably VR is going to too. So where can you hide? Don't know. I love how you say gold is struggling, gold is showing weakness. Well, on the short-term charts, it's definitely showing weakness. On when we really go out further, where's my gold chart? Well, you can't really see it anymore. My chart doesn't go back far enough now. You know, there was where gold was coming up, and since then it's just been a slow downtrend. But there's a lot of sideways in that. They've been trading around this 1900 area for a really long time. A whole month, basically. So I don't know if for a long-term investor it's really a big deal. It's a real conundrum though, because okay, so if you're looking for the flight to safety, where do you go? It's not happening in treasuries. No, sir. It's not happening in their treasuries. I can't really see any commodity that's really doing well. Well, I guess gold is doing okay this morning. Gold is moving up with the equities at the moment. Gold above 2,500 by 2023. Well, I can't see that far out, but potentially. At the moment, I can't see past this. Europe is shutting down and the US has not so far, and we have an election next week. And after the election, then we can game things out a little bit more. Will the US shut down again? Will we get a Biden and then the US will shut down? Probably. I think at this point, if America votes for Biden, then it's inevitable that we will get another shutdown. It's inevitable. Not only everything that he said is like, oh, if the experts say that they want to, then I'll do it. The experts are going to want to, regardless of whether it's really a good idea or not. And the left is going to want to, because they love this whole everybody gets free income thing. They're like, yeah, let's show everybody that it works. If we just give everybody money. Treasuries are not safe. Interest rates are being kept low. The inflation risk will likely eat all your interest rate gains, to be honest. Well, yeah. So, I mean, right now the treasuries have been moving down. The whole thing is there's going to have to be a lot of supply coming out, and how are the banks going to deal with that? How are the central banks going to keep people buying the treasuries to prevent the interest rate from skyrocketing? I'm not sure how that works. It's going to be hard. We had that one period where the treasuries like really, really sunk quickly, if you remember that earlier in the summer. And then they came out, all they had to do was just kind of give a comment on it, and they fixed that one up really quick, right? November 4th, the sun will come up and the birds will still sing. I don't know. So did you hear the piece of news this morning that Elizabeth Warren wants to be the Treasury Secretary? Elizabeth Warren, Treasury Secretary. That's a little scary to me. What does the Secretary of the Treasury do? He is a principal economic advisor and plays a critical role in policymaking by bringing an economic and government financial policy perspective to issues facing the government. The Secretary is responsible for formulating and recommending domestic, international, financial, economic, and tax policy, participating in the formulation of broad fiscal policies that have general significance for the economy and managing the public debt. The Secretary oversees the activities of the department in carrying out its major law enforcement responsibilities, serving as the financial agent for the United States government and manufacturing coins and currency. The Chief Financial Officer of the government, Secretary, serves as Chairman pro tempore of the President's Economic Policy Council. Blah, 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 all of these things. Yeah. She wants to do that. So let's see here. Bitcoin is going to start showing its inability to be a currency risk hedge. Yeah. The Bitcoin is interesting, man. So Bitcoin in the short term, um, there's some how do I say it? Seasonal factors. Yeah, there's some seasonal factors in Bitcoin supporting it right now, right? So not only was there some news like they kind of caught some momentum with the whole thing with uh, PayPal and all of that, even though I don't think that it's really a big deal. But they got some momentum with it, and some people, a lot of people have been buying in, and I'm sure that there's a lot of retail traders really, really happy. And we did move from basically like 10K to 13K, which is pretty amazing, right? That's like a 30% increase. It might not seem like it, but it is. And
Block by.
oh dear, they bought through him at 16. My oh my. Well, the E-mini turned around there and the treasuries came up hard, so should have gone short at 81, man. Cryptos are a new asset class. Nah, so where was I going with this? So they got the momentum, but then you got to remember they always tend to rally into the year end. It's like you get the pump at the year end, and then sometime around Christmas, it just like collapses. This happens over and over and over again. This time, I'm seeing a pretty strong rally, but I am just not seeing the excitement and fervor and people talking about it now compared to before. It's just like there's just not interest in it at all. So you've got this thing where people are paying up for it, and who is going to pay for it from them? You know what I mean? And we're really, really close to stop out levels. we're really close to stop out levels. So if they are able to get up into the 15, 16 range, then you get into like crash imminent territory. So could cryptos be a asset going forward? I don't know. Like, and here's the other thing is that these state governments implement cryptocurrencies, and then really the reason that you do Bitcoin is because you want a currency not tied to a country. Well, without the utility part of Bitcoin, I guess the point that I'm trying to make is that without the utility part of Bitcoin, the institutional investing part of it like really falls apart. It really falls apart. Because you're expecting Goldman Sachs and JP Morgan and so forth to sell people on the idea of investing into a cryptocurrency based off of the theory that if the government collapses that everybody will use that. I just don't see that as something that most institutional investors are going to be able to sell with a straight face. You know? Okay, just wait and watch, and we shall see. Yeah, that's what y'all told me in 2015. Who was right on that one? Uh huh. And again, everybody always forgets about this, but the whole thing with Bitfinex and the New York Attorney General is still not resolved. It's still floating out there, and I'm telling you guys, when that shit hits the fan, it will not be pretty. 7.0 magnitude. Oh, we've been getting a lot of really big earthquakes around lately, haven't we? JP Morgan. Well, but that's exactly the problem, Sunday Driver. This is just the perfect example. I just, man.
Sunday Driver says JPM, long a crypto hater, is now using their own coin to do money transfers.
That is bearish for Bitcoin, guys. That is bearish for Bitcoin. That is a competitor to Bitcoin. That is people that are going to go and use that coin instead of Bitcoin. How is that good for Bitcoin? It's not. You're taking away like the main reason to use it, and you're left with the conspiracy theory segment. I think it's hilarious when Bitcoiners come along with these sorts of things and they're investing in it because of that. Do you guys remember when China announced that they were doing their own state crypto-backed cryptocurrency and Bitcoin bought on that? And then eventually it didn't turn out, right? It's not good for Bitcoin. If anything, JP Morgan coin is a competitor to Ripple. Well, Ripple is a competitor to Bitcoin. Do you remember what happened when the CME released Bitcoin futures? Seems pretty convenient. Well, you know what? My most popular video and my most popular stream was the day that we streamed the Bitcoin futures. And you can go back and you can watch that video and you can see what I said about what was going to happen to Bitcoin. And I was 100% right. So I feel that I've been able to pick the swings on Bitcoin pretty effectively, the major ones at least. We were never given a good value on Bitcoin since the last crash. We honestly weren't. There's too many people trying to catch it falling knife. But this idea that Bitcoin is going to be the future is still absolutely ridiculous. Now, Bitcoin itself will probably continue to appreciate in value, if only because of the decrease in supply, right? But the popularity is not increasing on it. And you're getting a lot of competitors. People are going to use that. So it really is like this idea of Bitcoin as digital gold. But the reason gold is popular is because people use it. If everybody's using competing cryptocurrency, then what's the point in buying Bitcoin? The value of the network is in how much it's used. I just think it's so ridiculous. Well, I don't want to say it's ridiculous. I find it funny and amusing that after what has it been now? 4 years? Almost 4 years since this all fell apart back in 2015. And people still buy into this Bitcoin as digital gold store of value bullshit. That's not how a currency works. Well, like I said, because of the decreasing supply, I'm sure that Bitcoin will probably continue to move up. But in terms of buying it today, I cannot endorse it. Cannot endorse it. I bet you that there's a little bit more long here left in this, but eventually the seasonality will flip on you and it will go down. And also here again, Bitfinex is just like I can't believe that you would want to be involved in any of that. Yeah, they're fighting the New York Attorney General so hard. And these are documents, like the whole thing is just to prove that, hey, you actually have money in it. By the way, they really stopped me out. I'm really pissed about that. I want to sell it, but like that's a lure. Haven't done your proper research nor read the books and papers on cryptos. I've read so many white papers on cryptocurrencies, dude. And to be quite frank, most of the people in the cryptocurrency space that claim to be experts have no fucking clue what they're talking about when it comes to economics. Hmm. Yeah, here it is. Exactly. This is the
Sunday
investment
Driver says
thesis.
Bitcoin was made for an eventual fiat currency crisis. When confidence is lost in fiat currency, what money type assets will do well? You have to think precious metals and various cryptos.
Not Bitcoin. If it happened today, then maybe Bitcoin. But the way that things are going, there are going to be other currencies, cryptocurrencies that are going to be used more. Right? Because Bitcoin went all in on Bitcoin as a digital gold thing. They diluted themselves. So here's the thing. And we see this in retail trading all the time, right? You get somebody that come in and they'll do something, and it's probably not particularly wise. It's probably not too smart from a financial investing point of view. And a lot of the larger institutional, smarter people will not do it. Okay. And this rally that we've had in equities is a really freaking great example. Okay. We've had this retail mania and they've been piling into tech names, and there hasn't been as, institutional investors, especially at first, were very, very reluctant to get into it. And they've been saying all this is overvalued and you're paying too much for forward earnings and all of that stuff, right? And then, man, I'm so pissed that it's just going. He went out and just to stop me out, and then went out. It's fine. Anyways, You got all these people, they go into forward earnings and they made money off of it. And so now they think they're geniuses because in one quarter they did well, right? And what's happening now? The earnings come out, the future doesn't look as good as they thought it was, and they're getting creamed today. Okay? Well, the same thing happened in Bitcoin. These people bought in Bitcoin and they did it with the whole pump and dump sort of a thing, right? They said, I'm going to buy into this thing and then I'm going to go and tell everybody about it and get as many people excited about this thing as possible. And that's how I'm going to make money off of it, is that it's going to become popular in the future. And they all bought into it. And then they created a bubble and there was a crash. But the thing is that they made money in the bubble, right? The people that are like in charge of Bitcoin at this point, right? So they now believe that the whole thing is to get as many people to buy into it as possible and to not sell it. So that's why you get all of these things like staking and stuff. Like the whole idea is to try and make it as deflationary as possible, to get as many people to buy into it and just hold it, right? But that is not what currency is for. Currency has value because it's used. If nobody uses it, it's fucking worthless. So what has Bitcoin done? They've basically capped themselves at the knee. If this whole what is it? The whole block size debate, okay, with Bitcoin Cash and everything, if that had never happened and they had just increased the block size like they were supposed to, and Bitcoin itself had never split, they would already be above $20,000. No kidding. So I don't know. Like, you're wrong. You know what? I've been right about this for 4 fucking years, and I'm going to be right about it. It continued to be right about it. You want to put all of your money in YOLO into Bitcoin today, then good luck. Good luck. I doubt that we've reached the high of the year, but I would not recommend buying it right now. So that was really interesting how, well, maybe I should have known better because I was expecting that big order to hold. Like he got filled and then they went right through the next price like it wasn't even there. So I got screwed by the treasuries, man. Anyone serious about crypto wants the currencies to be used in daily commerce. Well, you can't do that with Bitcoin. The way that it works at the current time makes it, almost impossible to use for commerce. That's why when there was so many people using it for commerce and they dropped it, and the actual use of Bitcoin has fallen, and the actual amount of money being transacted through the network is still incredibly low. I guess it probably has risen a little bit recently because it has been giving them a little bit more room, but I think that the government has a lot more power over finance than you think they do. Look, the US government could come in and just ban Bitcoin if they had to, man. Don't think they wouldn't do it. Still goes. Holy shiz. Well, I can't chase it, so. I guess sometimes that's going to happen, but I'm just thinking about, like, should I have done that differently? Should I have hit into it at 15? But at 15, they kind of tested that a couple of times before they actually went. So I don't know if that really makes a lot of sense. Mm, 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 mm. Why do I have this open? I'm on Twitter. U.S. stocks set to erase yesterday's gains with eyes on tech. Donald Trump tweeting about the Supreme Court for some reason. How did you learn to read the DOM? I don't know if I did. No. So the place that I recommend starting is No BS Day Trading. I'm not saying that that's going to give you some profitable setups and that you'll really understand it and everything, but it will like at least explain the game, what's going on. And then you can kind of watch things and try and figure stuff out on your own from there. And really, this has a lot of learning, on your own. So I'm just thinking back about it, like there was that big order, and how many times has it been where you thought that the big order would hold things and it didn't? But this market has been kind of fickle, right? Like they were holding it up there for such a long time, and then look at how easily it fell through there. They just were waiting for the right moment to make their move, and I just didn't catch the right timing. I was right, but I was early, basically. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. But the thing with the Dom is, I really think that you've got to watch it a lot. You've got to watch it a lot, and you kind of understand the game, and you'll start to realize how, um, inconsistent it is. It's a real art, like knowing what are the factors that matter and what don't. The factor that matters right now is they're expecting more supply to come into the market. Positioning, they have a little bit further to go here. We'll try our one trade here in a second. We can find a sticky price. We might try this newer trade that I've been doing. We lost 2 on that last one, right? Yeah, lost 2. In retrospect, it wasn't the best position anyway, so would have been way better if I was positioned at 16. Currently trying to learn well, that's a great way to do it. Have you been doing the jigsaw stuff? I have to say, the way that you read the DOM, it's similar to the footprint, but the thing that I've been noticing and I've been watching lately, because a lot of the time we want to use the market orders, right? Because when things move, it's often it's accompanied by market orders usually. But if you're able to track the market makers' positions, so just take note right there. The market makers took 7,920, right? Think about the person that's buying 11 versus the person that's selling 11, right? So we want to say, oh, well, 11,000 sold into that. So that means that they're going to push through and go lower. But I'm sitting here thinking, okay, the guy took his profits. So let's see if I can get this one to work out. I might be too early for it. Yeah, I think I'm too early for it. It was 15, 11 half did act a little bit of balance, but I'm not too sure yet. Yeah, aggressive orders and passive aggressive orders. Right. But now you've got like aggressive orders. Now think of it this way. Is like if they took 8,000, was that them taking profits on something down here? Or was that them taking a new position buying? And if you really game it out and you really go through on the footprint and you look at things, you can eliminate certain scenarios, right? So on this one, um, there's way too many positions that had been going short and so forth that it's almost certainly shorts covering there at 11. So that's why I'm taking it here, because I'm trying to, um, yeah, I'm expecting this to balance out here. I think that was way too early. I'm not sure that I should really focus too much on the stats on this trade yet, because I think I'm still kind of sorting it out. So is 11 going to be the price instead? Well, let's see here. I have some indications that maybe they could go a little bit further, but anyways, the reason I'm getting into that is because I have an indicator that I wrote, right? Um, and it is based on the footprint. It has a footprint underneath doing stuff. And what I'm doing is I'm looking at each level on the footprint, and I'm running through different, scenarios where I basically say, okay, when this happens, then that's him adding a position, and when this happens, that's him taking a position off, and it has to do with the order sequence of events and everything else. So I can see here, okay, shorts were adding positions up in here, and then as this moved down, the number of shorts decreased significantly, and they came down to the blue line, which is going to be where the longs have their stops, because that's a theoretical break even on the day for stops. Or sorry, for longs. Excuse me. So there you go. They went short. They're taking it off. There's probably going to be a bounce here. There's better. By the way, thanks for your video on PC parts for trading. Building my first rig next week. Oh yeah, that's awesome. I'm really, they're getting those 5 series Ryzen cards now. I'm kind of excited for that. I might try upgrading, but I think that my motherboard is too old. I think I have to buy a new motherboard. Yeah, that's been by far my most popular video. Man, Ace, it's been, hold up and let them do the open a little bit, Ace. Because I'm not sure that this action in the E-mini really makes a lot of sense. And it's a Friday, you know? Cool. See, that time it worked out. Maybe it's just random, but I feel in that time that I was too early, and there was a couple of signs that I should have been looking for and waiting for to take that one. Because even though that price was acting as balanced, I shouldn't have been taking it when it was acting as balanced. I should see it balance, see them take a try at the next price and not go for it, and then we're starting to see some absorption there at 11.5, and then I can take it. And if I can get that thing one tick both ways and get a high win rate on it, then I think we'd be in good shape. Should have taken your point and gone out. Well, just remember, we've had a negative week. We had a really negative after hours news, and the market is trying to recover back into yesterday's levels before the open. So, what do you think they're going to do on the open? Right? I uh, I think that there's going to be a lot more opportunity after the open, and we should wait for the real pricing in of things before we take something over there. Hmm. By the way, I changed something about my setup today. So instead of using the bridge, I have Rhythmic Trader open, and I just have Jigsaw and Ninja Trader both connected into that. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with it so far. And that will allow me to use both Ninja Trader and Jigsaw charts. Hey. So I'm just want to note right there at 12. Okay, like the overall trend has been down, right? So why is 12 pulling so easily? Only 800 have hit into it, and they're acting like they're just about to tick up. Why would they do that, right? Why are they afraid to hold liquidity at 12? Well, I don't think that that's the case at all. I think that they would really like to get filled at 12. And so what they're doing is they're pulling the liquidity and not putting it there in the hopes that allows more people to buy, and then they'll get out there. So I would expect that through this area, the 12, 12 half, that we should see some distribution. And so what's happening is this is a lure. They're pulling, most likely. You never know, but that's the game, right? They pull it so that they'll get hit. And sometimes there's an iceberg under it, and sometimes they really just didn't want to get hit. And then we could have a reversal, right? Okay, so there's the E-mini. Okay. I'm surprised that that first impulse is long. Um, and it's a pretty decent amount, relatively speaking, too. Hmm. Why did that not take? Oh, I see why. I'm so dumb. Oh, that sucks because that would have been a good to hit. Okay. Okay. Too slow. Okay, so that volume that came in on the open, it came back off. Oh, well, that's not. Why am I seeing it's surely it's the deltas are bigger than that? No, that's bad too. Okay. Hmm. This is very, very curious. I think these numbers are right. I was gonna build a computer, but it was impossible to find it even. Oh, it's about to Sunday. It's about to. So here's what's happened in the graphics market. The Nvidia has released a new card that is a lot cheaper than the previous generation, and everybody and their dog wanted in on that. So everybody was trying to buy this new Nvidia card, and so much so that you like literally can't find it anywhere, and you have to pay up for it. And then Nvidia came out and they released a card that's even better than that. So um, we're gonna have to give it some time, but probably after the holiday season, there's gonna be a ton of older cards getting dumped on the market. So you'll be able to get like 20 series cards for so much cheaper. Well, that one's working out pretty okay. Treasuries are all over the place in here now. Want a future proof and get an elite card? I can never find one. Well, if you were to buy a 3090, I'm sure that you would be good for a good 5 to 8 years, but that's like $1,000 card still. Should also note that the cards are a little bit higher. You might need to factor that into your case. Okay. Oh, I forgot we got the Chicago PMI. This is the one that's early, right? So when is that supposed to come? 3 minutes before. So at 42. Hmm. Are the treasuries going to completely retrace this? Let's do some management here. Because I think I just kind of want to sit back on this one. Hmm. It's skipping a lot of prices when they're moving. This does appear to work better than the Ninja Trader Bridge, doesn't it?
Winston's mom says 31 watching now. If you haven't already, please take a second to hit the like thumbs up button. This helps Speculator Seth promote his channel. Thanks.
Hmm. Well, I got a good runner there, but I'm a little concerned about like if I want to hold this through the Chicago PMI or not. And I'm not so sure that the next little push down that I would need is going to happen before that. Hey, thank you, 50 Ghosts. Hey, thank you, Win, for reminding us. Because I always forget to ask you guys to hit the like button. Well, they're trying hard there. They just don't have the volume anymore. Look at that. Look at the cumulative delta down in the bottom right. All on limit orders, I guess. Okay, so about 2 minutes. Hey, there we go. Maybe we will get it. Okay. Some new excursion here. Got 1 minute left. Now they're going to push regular session lows. Good stop run there. Overall market is positioning short now. Mohammed asks, "What's good with your?" I know I popped a blood vessel yesterday, so there's blood in it, but I'm okay. Okay, so I don't see anything there, but it is moving slightly up. But I didn't see like a volume burst or anything. Well, they're looking for a reading of 58. Which is a good reading, by the way, right? Those are levels where it's 50 is normal and 58 is an expansion. So, but it must have come in pretty close to the estimate because there doesn't seem to be significant factor at the moment. so now I'm getting some sweeps in this area. There's the open at 82. Would have never taken the endorsement of the man who, through gross incompetence, poisoned the people of Flint, Michigan. Former Rhino Governor Rick Snyder should be ashamed of himself and his service. I was asked to help fix it. Biden took his endorsement. Vote Trump. Oh, that's an interesting attack. Okay, 1 minute till we get the news. Oh, it's a good number. 61 versus 58. So, well, they did move up when we got the number, right? It wasn't like an obvious move, but I guess there was a reason why they were moving up there. But now look, now that it's out and some selling there, and I'm too slow, guys. let's hmm. So look at a couple of things. So if they wanted to wash out sell some positions from overnight, they would have a lot further down to go. And there is kind of like a strong support here just above 74. So if they are able to get another stop run lower to happen, it could be ugly. But at the moment, there appears to be some support there, right? Hmm. I'm not seeing a whole lot of large institutional activity at the moment. In fact, we haven't seen any large orders for the past 10 minutes. Push down again? I don't know. That's just kind of like all over the place, isn't it? I guess they're trying to recover the open. Hmm. Ooh, wow. Wow. they just busted that. They just did a double stop run there, right there. Some people were trying to catch it after the flush, and then when they stopped him out again. There is some volume there, and we're getting these sweeps and these sorts of things here. That last one was interesting because it was up, but there was a robot sitting there waiting to smack it back. See, like that? Okay, well, we did get a large order placed finally, but it's like way down at 67.50. That big order right there. Oh yes, at the top of the hour we get consumer expectations. Someone switched the algo switch to off. Whoa, what the fuck? So you be careful with that one because I've known some spots where I see a sweep like that and I'm like, oh yeah, I want to reverse that, and it turned into they just sell and sell and sell all day long. I This sweep I saw it yesterday too. Um, the first time I ever saw that was in 2018 after, before around the midterms. Started showing up around the midterms, and then after the midterms it was still there in December. And yeah, you would get this sweep. They would come and sweep like 4 to 8 prices down. And it was like so vengeful. It was like they just wanted it to go down, and it would go down so much further than we thought it would. So when I'm seeing that, I don't necessarily want to participate in that. I suppose we could get out, but I think I think that this was a case where some people were waiting for the PMI, and then when the PMI was done with, then they got out. So now you're going to get the same thing with the consumer sentiment, right? So we might see a little bit of a pullback and balancing out here. Okay, so let's remember that the sweeps and stuff were around this 74 area. Or like the initial stop run was around 74. So That one wasn't a sweep. I think that one was just people giving up. Oof. Okay. Well, that moved the profile there, did it? Do you see how all of this suddenly went blue? You turned into a cyborg? I know, right? It's my Halloween costume. You like it? The Ninja Dom does. Yeah, the Ninja Dom is awful, dude. I'd be honest with you. I think that the Ninja Dom is awful. Um, if you're listening to Ninja Trader, replace your Dom. Now, we still got a good 5 minutes to sit here. So, did you take any shorts off of that ace? Don't even use that. I love Sierra Charts Dom. I use the chart trader. Yeah, I mean, I suppose that in Ninja Trader for placing orders that the Ninja Trader Dom is better than nothing. But yeah, it's pretty bad. Of course, on the split side, if you're using Ninja Trader, then I think that you'd want to utilize some of the stuff like automated entries and stuff. Okay. So there was some sweeps through that area at 78, and it looked like they ran into some icebergs or something because I saw volume all the way up almost to 79, but the level 2 didn't change at all. You got short at 87 and got out. Okay. Good job. Wait, 87? Where did I get? Oh, I got 96. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. Well, they are above the 74 area now. We should make note of that, huh? Erased your loss and put some in your pocket. Oh, there you go. Well, hold on a second. Let's just, even if you don't trade it, let's watch what happens on the consumer sentiment. That's an important data point. Always have a better weekend if you end green, yeah. The worst thing is having a bender day on a Friday, and then having all weekend to think about it. reset this. So now we're getting a couple of swings across this light area. Let's see if buyer's not giving up. Woo. Treasury getting slammed down to its lows again. Are you doing the webinar with Ninja? I think I'm going to do that at some point, but I think I want to wait until next year. Okay. Coming up on the release here now. Some of that move up might have just been short covering. I don't know. Okay, 81.8 versus the forecast of 81.2. And what are they going to do for the inflation here? Consumer expectations 79.2 versus 75.6. So the numbers do look good. The market's not really running with it yet. So I'm a little concerned that this is another one of those we got to wait for the big piece of news, and then we can continue our sell programs, you know? Well, okay, so they're holding 77 for now. Inflation 2.6 versus a previous 2.7. You gonna push through that area this time? Yeah. Well, not this time again. And they pushed through the pivot too. So hold up. Yeah, that was a pivot high. 71.25. Okay, well, now that the news is over, I'm getting the clickiness. Okay. I'm out. So that's pretty good. That puts me up $70 on the day. Although I really probably should have gotten out way down here, huh? Could have gotten out ahead of the news. Now, I'm not entirely sure what it's going to do. I just know that I'm seeing the big orders come back in. And so I feel like I'm not as competitive here. There are 24 pages with 4 webinars each on the Ninja Traders website. Everyone and their dog does in the webinar. Yeah, so I hear. Mm-mm-mm. There they are again. So I do see big orders. I'm not 100% sure what they're trying to do here. I think if I zoom out here a little bit, looks like slightly more activity on the offer, but look at how tight it's become in here. So somebody must be picking up a lot of positioning here. For the first time in nearly 4 years, the financial expectations of Republicans and Democrats were nearly equal. Really? Oh, because the Democrats' finance the expectations of their finances rose significantly. Oh, that's weird. Probably because they think Biden's going to win. You stopped using the volume on the Ninja Trader or something? I don't know. Yeah, here's the thing that Sierra, I gotcha. The thing you got to remember with volume, especially cumulative delta, is that it's very dependent on how well synced up your level 2 is with your fills, right? Yeah, one of your indicators uses it now. So are they going to try and turn full on bullish here now? Now that they're above the open, and I'm sure I'm glad I got out where I did. Don't you think? Well, I wish I gotten out lower, but 78 wasn't terrible. No, it was terrible because there was a whole other $50 in that. Well, whatever. We made money. Shall the treasuries push down again? Those are looking awfully heavy. Gary says every rally attempt is short. Are you talking about in the treasury or the E-mini? Or both. Donald Trump approval rating raises back to 45 in the RCP aggregate. That's really interesting. Consumer confidence rises thanks to optimistic Democrats. Well, that kind of just makes me want to go short the market. Why is the book so thick in the 10-year? Well, it's a good observation, Octavius. I think that there are a lot of people involved in it right now. Tesla's under 400, good. So we're still not quite there yet, are we? Like the low is 138.050. But there's probably a lot of institutions seeing this move and deciding that they're going to get involved. Because here's what happens is, say I'm Goldman Sachs and a client says, okay, we want to go short the 10-year treasury. Then what I'll do is I'll come in and I'll start my DOM up, and I have a certain amount of liquidity, that I'm allowed to use. So I'm going to come in and I don't know how many orders they put in, but let's say that they're going to put in 100 lots at every price, right? And even if they're going, regardless of which way they're going to go, and they kind of will make profit off of each little step. Jeez. They stack 4,000 on it after the downtick, making me think that I just need to hit into 9.5. Well, certainly if the E-mini decides that they're gonna snap back up, but um, uh, okay, no, don't like that. So I noticed on that one they hit back up, and some even hit into 10.5. So somebody was hitting back with a big order. It's not that I think that it's going to come up, but they'll let them work it out, right? The thing that I'm focusing on right now is I'm trying to avoid some of the big cap people. So, okay, now the E-mini is turning back down negative as well. Trump changes election night plans and cancels party at Trump International. Huh. Okay. Well, I'm a little late here now, but So some clicking in that 70 area. Huh. Somebody's fighting it hard here. So let's just take that for a moment. And I'll equal out. Oh, I only lost 250 on that first one. Okay. And I think I did the right thing there. Maybe it could still go lower, but just at least on that short scalp. It's too much clicking here. Live action asks Seth, your chart on the right is a 1 minute. Well, it's a 5 minute and a 1 range. The big bars in the background are 5 minutes, and the little ones are 1 range. So literally every price change. Okay, so it did go lower. I'm still happy with that one. I don't want to really take it on the low right there. Although I am seeing that the big orders have disappeared. Okay, so there's a new low, but it's not. That was actually relatively quiet compared to what we've had. There'd be more in that? I don't know. It nearly mirrors a 133 tick chart. Probably would, because that's about how many ticks it's taking to tick it up or down. Okay, well, there is a really big support pivot at 32.64.25. That must be why when they took the stops that you didn't see that much panic off of it. Treasury ticks down again. The 30-year, look at him. So aggressive. When I took that one where I scratched it, oh, that was at 10. So only 361 have hit into 09.5. I read that one right too. So now I'm not. So one thing I would say is this action to me feels a little dire. Like this feels like, man, they really petered out early. They made a good run higher there, and they weren't able to get it much lower. And now we've got another regular session low, and they're going after this overnight pivot, and they could go all the way down to like the 3250 area and all of that. But then when I look at some of the correlations and everything, well, the dollar is not moving higher at the moment, and the treasuries certainly aren't moving higher. So I don't see evidence of money fleeing to other havens at the moment. Gold's going down. Oil's going down. I'm not really seeing anything going up. I think it's because it's Friday. Well, you would think that. Just go short and leave a wide stop and let it go until the end of the day. Well, I mean, that's kind of what I wanted to do originally, but I guess it would have worked out. I could still be short if I really wanted to be. But I think that I want to be a little I'm trying to be fast, so it's okay. I don't have to catch the world. This is the point where they can save it. Facebook negative 5.2. Well, that's where I was saying like the degree of the move in some of those tech names sounds just crazy to me. I'm also a little cautious about selling it here. Yeah, so it was a big order placed right there. I guess not. There, that one was not bad. A little more volume, please. Living on the edge over here, man. Oi. I'm getting the excursion that I want, but not the volume that I want. Not yet. It hasn't equalized out yet. Come on. Okay. Okay, now it's evened out a little bit and is in our favor. Hmm. Oh, that's a little aggressive. Yeah. So let's take a look at a couple things. Let's try and understand why they're behaving like this here. Okay. Okay. Oh, they really want 42. Now this clicking that I'm getting is over in the treasury. Huh. Keeps going. Yeah, well, you think they're going to go all the way to the 42 just right away? Could be. Sure is. Sure is just plowing and plowing and plowing. That was at 60.75. Huh. So there was an iceberg at way back up there, but they just plowed through it, man. I mean, I think it should go lower. I just thought there was going to be a pullback, you know? I'm having a hard time getting myself to sell it here. Like, it's so dramatically. Well, yeah, it's pretty oversold, I have to say. Hmm. So we are seeing a little bit more pushback there, but look at that. Oy. Okay. That's kind of a little more like what we want. And I think I can. Big old 9K at 10.5 now in the treasury. I guess equities finally got them to back off. Okay. Well, it's really slowed down here now. Are you not entertained yet? I guess I'll try and make it flip. Yeah. Yeah. Jeez. So aggressive. Wow. Okay. Damn it.
Block cell.
Ooh, if this one goes, come on. Come on. We're almost there. I really like that trade, guys. Did you see what happened there? There was a large, they came down to the low and a pretty large order appeared on the DOM in the E-mini, and they ran away from it. There was some front running on it. And so I said, okay. And I waited for them to go. And when they hit it, there was a big sweep. And as soon as I saw the sweep, I clicked. And then it went right up to the target. So even though I took a couple of losses up in there, in the end, I came out positive off of those two trades. So that probably should be, if we can wrangle it around in here. I think that we're probably likely to get a good little pullback. Yeah. See, the volume is very much on the positive now. No. Jeez. He's watching me. Good grief. Look at that. Okay, that was not intentional. Fuck. That was ugly. Oh, what? Hmm. That whole thing was just a really wild mess. I think I was a little overstimulated there. And a misclick. Ugh, it feels bad. Mm. So I'm getting into this, like, is it watching me sort of bullshit? Like, look at that. And then if I sell it there, will it immediately flip on me? No, okay, that one's falling through. I don't know about this, guys. See, none of these are going. What am I doing wrong all of a sudden? Well, you can't. It's hard to do it down here. Yeah. This one is a little bit more favorable. Yeah. Yeah. Get back, you bastards. Thank you. That is a really bullish candle. Holy shit. Chicago PMI strong. It was slightly better than expected. I don't know if it was a huge deal. Hmm. Treasuries. Holy shit. Look at that tick down. This is insane. Yeah, they're not going to like that. This is turning into a rate panic. Okay, well, there was a new low, but somebody was there ready to hit it. There you go. Hmm. Wow, what? This is getting pretty fucky action, don't you think? Well, I'm taking a lot of trades. What the fuck? What the fuck? Oh my gosh, this is insane. Can that? I don't know if that can hold. Wow. Yeah. Literally, as soon as I take it, then it flips. That's hilarious, dude. Mm-hmm. Such a strong trend, it's nuts and very rare. That last one in particular, that last little flush lower was extremely unusual. Like they were getting really positive candle, and then that sort of a thing happens. I think. Well, there's a big order showing up when that happens. I don't know. It's only a 500 lot. I don't know if that's a huge deal, but. This is probably action in which you were likely to just get chopped one way or another, huh? So let's just bail. Oh.
Block by.
Wowzer. Well, I never dreamed that it would go down this quickly, you know? Because I never turned bullish, but I definitely took buys on there thinking that we were likely to get a pullback, and like it's just been like down, 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 no breaks. It's probably going to do it at some point, though, huh? It's, no. This is, I'm just doing terrible now. I'm not on my serious account anymore. But these treasuries keep clicking. What caused that one?
Block cell.
Okay. Come on, you can do it. So figure out where the circuit breaker trick kicks in. It's way lower. So you're still not even to the overnight low, actually. Just to note. Okay. So pretty deep pullback off of that, but there is so much volume coming through on this too, by the way. And the treasury is just insane. Okay. Mm, you've got it. Come on. There you go. Toying with me. Okay. Feel like you missed the bulk of the morning? No. You wish you were still short? Nah, yeah, me too. I wish I was still short from the high of the regular session. There was no way that could have known that it was going to drop like that, huh? That was a real. Now, funny thing is that it kind of came up a little bit after the GDP news, but then after that, it was just like nothing but down, 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 down. Yeah, being stingy with the fills sometimes drives me crazy. Okay, well, the Treasury's finally backed off. Hmm. Hmm. Little sweep there. Didn't move it very much at all, though. I guess somebody wants 3,200 really bad, man. Flat. What the fuck? What the hell happened there? Oh. So that was like the worst misclick of my life. So I wanted to cancel those, and that could still be a long shit. Why is the Canadian budget balance number making such a big difference? That's weird. That's not one that I would have ever predicted. Fed reduces the minimum loan amount. that what it was? In Main Street lending program from 100,000 to 100,000 from 250,000. That, I guess that is good. That's probably what moved that. That's coming from the Federal Reserve. So Federal Reserve coming in, throwing out a headline, seeing the markets doing what they're doing, and throwing out a headline. How did the treasuries react to that? For 3 of them. Yeah. You know what I think is going on here, guys? Do you see what is happening? When markets are freaking out, who comes to save the day? Plunge protection team. That's what just fucking happened right there, man. That's not necessarily a good thing, but let's one step at a time. Okay. Sorry, please translate to foreigners. So what is going on? We've seen a pretty significant drop. It's not an overnight low. We should keep that in mind. It is not an overnight low. But we've seen an extremely aggressive drop. Well beyond stops and everything else. As the market is falling apart, we're seeing the treasuries push down very aggressively. So the Federal Reserve came out and made a statement saying that they're going to reduce the minimum loan size. So they have all of these programs to help small and mid-sized businesses. But the problem has been that the minimum loan that you can take out is $250,000, right? So, do you own a business that you could handle a loan of $250,000? No, not really. So, the Federal Reserve coming out and making the minimum loan amount $100,000 means that more people can take advantage of the program now, essentially. So they're throwing that out there, maybe to help stem the bleeding. He says volume. Okay, yeah. So that's what I think happened there, and that's why we got such a bullish candle. I'm so mad about that because that trade was like really good, but because something screwed up. Like I had my profit targets out there, and like one was too many or something, and it ended up going short. And I don't know how that happened, but I'm so mad about it. It's a pretty bum deal that I got there, right? And I'll load up and down here at my basis again if I can. Okay. Value area just moved again. At least in the micros it did. It hasn't moved in the E-mini yet. Boy. I really hate that kind of action, man. Okay, well now the value area for everything is moved. I'm just YOLOing in. I'm just having fun now, guys. Because of that, especially because of that misclick or whatever. Well, pretty aggressive market sell orders coming in there and trying to push the market down again. I don't think that they're going to be able to make a lower low, but let's see. They recovered that pretty good, but this action is really starting to become quite random, wouldn't you say? Dollar index weakened just a teeny tiny bit when that happened too. Being pointed out by Financial Juice a minute ago. Okay. Being stingy again. I'm always just a little too far out there. Just kind of thinking back now. Okay, so how should I have done all of this? Been short and just stayed? How big was that candle? 31 to 47. $9.13. Good deal. Good deal. Okay. This is really difficult to trade with one contract. You were at near 300, but you didn't take it? Oh, Vlad. No, but I wouldn't call yourself dumb. Like, just think about the way that it was moving down there at the lows, man. I mean, there was really some pretty crazy, silly stuff back there, wasn't there? I kind of think I want to buy this lower end of the volume profile if I can. I probably should have had it sitting down there because I'm not going to touch it. If I had just kept with my original short, man, whoo, whoo. Fed triggers huge buy program with news it's easing Main Street lending terms. I think that this should stem the bleeding for now, at least. Treasury. Hey, stop that. Okay. I need to take a break. Jeez. We're almost time to stop, actually, but no, I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. What platform do you use, Jigsaw? Jigsaw Day Trader. So, what do we want to do here? I want to watch it drop through first. Okay. Don't press buttons. Cancel all orders now and let the dust settle. Well, I shouldn't have been trading in all of that craziness, but and there was some spots where some shit happened that shouldn't have, but in the end, it's positive. So, what can I say? Damn treasuries want more? You damn treasuries want more? I think that's a much better trade. Could just be short treasuries. Well, that was a pretty big comeback up when they did that, though. Ooh, iceberg at 32.46. Yeah, and drop from there. Caseload and deaths are greater than the most pessimistic projections in the UK. Johnson's government is resisting imposing a national lockdown. It would too. How about those who bought the attempted rallies look dumb? Well, I bought and sold a bunch of things, and I think I look dumb. I mean, I guess I can save a little bit of my dignity because I came out positive in the end, but I only did that because I added into a spot after the Federal Reserve, right? Oh, so sad. No Phil. Well, the thing that gets me is that I had, where was it? So it was back here. We got to go further back. So I think it was somewhere up in this area that I tried doing some buying. So like I was able to get some okay ones. And then it turned into this. Like by that calendar, I was like, what the fuck is going on? God damn it, treasuries. Ugh. Oh, look at that. I tell you what, man. I mean, the sell in the E-mini, of course, it's pretty dramatic. They're still not at the overnight low, and I don't know. Will the Fed stop that? I can't say. But what's going on in the Treasury right now scares me. It really scares me. What's going on in the Treasury right now is like the market won't sit by and just let you take on more debt. Right? All of the politicians have been running on this thing that like, oh, we can continue. Like we borrowed this time. We thought that we were on the edge and we borrowed and everything was just fine and we can put all these programs in and the Fed can do all of these things. And today the market is saying, hold up. That doesn't matter. I don't know, man. Why is it selling? Because you know that the European Central Bank is going to come in and they're going to do stuff. They're going to buy more treasuries probably. And you know that the Federal Reserve is probably going to have to do something at some point. So why would they move down as aggressively as they have? And the only conclusion I can make is that they know that they're going to have to offer out a lot of stuff and that they've taken it too far. That the market can't. Sorry, hold on. The dog is. The market can't handle what the government is asking of them. Ten years moving due to what macro? What macro? We're gonna recover or something? All the things are moving down. That's not good. And I think that they're moving down because they're saying that there's going to be a supply shock in treasuries. That's the only theory I've got, at least. The treasuries are selling due to risk. Wait, what? What? Treasuries are too risky of an asset to hold now, guys. We have to sell them all. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Oh, I didn't know that the FOMC was next week on a Thursday. Well, that's going to be interesting. Good thing you were out of NQ. Well, it is moving. At the moment, the pivots in the E-mini are about as random as it can get. So there was a low, and then a high, and then a higher low, and a higher high, and a higher low, and a lower high, and a lower low. So are they going to come now? They're going to make a higher high again, or are they going to go and plummet and push to the overnight low now? And I keep seeing this stuff that's like, these sorts of things. I don't know how much I can get from it. There you go. Pen works. So what I'm trying to do there is I'm just seeing really strong moves off of nothing. Then I'm thinking, well, that just must be retail traders swinging around, so I'll fade it. Sounds like Michelle Obama. We go high, they go. It is consolidating down here. Well, the thing is 3240 is like the spot. I guess one of the things that has been screwing me up a little bit and screwed me up on that move was I knew that like the targets were down at the 40 area, but I just didn't realize how far that was because I had kind of forgotten that first target is a lot farther now because the VIX is a lot higher now. Facebook negative 6.6. Yeah, well, here's the thing. PPT came in, but does PPT help the companies that are weighing the index down right now? No. So I liked that trade, and I'm glad that I, quadrupled into it and everything. But I'm still thinking that they could take another step lower today. I wish I just kept that original one that I had just a little while ago. Where does that put me at? Right where I was, so would still like to get another 30 points if I can. $30 rather. I don't want right there. They're going to slip through that. Yeah. How did I do that? If I can get a short to run, I think I want to let it go, so. Treasury's still. Oh, they're taking back and forth a lot there at 06. Okay. So let's go back. My original really good short. 96 to 76. Oh, that looks so dumb to have gotten out there now. Oh, guys, I should have just held it, and I would look like the most genius trader ever. If I had just held on to that, it would have been like, wow, Seth. Bow down. So what happened was I used that cash, and then I kind of squandered it in the chop down there, and then, oh dear. Blech. So what happened was I made that I made like almost $100, and then I squandered it on the stuff, but I kind of used that to give myself a little bit of room, and then leveraged in really long off of the Federal Reserve thing. And the funny thing is that then that came through, and I got the trade and the exit, and for some reason it went one short. So I must have clicked somewhere or something, and I lost 30 on that. So then I went and made that. That's the whole sequence of events was just really dumb. The whole sequence of events was just kind of a little silly. Sensing that the market was getting out of hand, the great physicist muttered that he could calculate the motions of heavenly bodies, but not the madness of people, says. Yeah. Okay, so no, Lewis was asking, do you find entry short or long based on time frames? For instance, no, I don't. I don't care about that at all, to be honest. I'm going to care more about. Well, so I think that sometimes I'm just not thinking straight. I think that on a couple of those longs that I took, I just wasn't thinking straight, right? I was just watching the DOM and seeing it overswing on one direction and thinking, oh, I should be able to get a little bit out of this, right? And then it goes my way really strong, and you think, oh, it can go. And then some other wave comes in and smacks it down twice as far. That's not good action for me. I shouldn't have been trading that. What do I care about the most? Why are they selling? So they're selling because they didn't like the FANG earnings and because everybody is realizing now that they have paid too much for these tech companies. That's why we're moving down. So, yeah, I want to be short. And then, what I'm looking for or have been looking for today, this week, and the ones where I think it's been working out the best for me, is I'm looking for areas where we overextend and I'm not seeing big guys participating. So, if I see a move up and it's like really fast and kind of tails, like you get the momentum tail sort of a thing, but I'm not hearing clicking over in the E-mini, then maybe I go short there. And then I should see the volume coming in short almost immediately. We are what we think. All that arises with our thoughts. With our thoughts, we make the world. Yeah. Well, I hope that I get filled at 07 and then I can put it back here like that. But I don't know if that's going to happen. He's kind of bowling like he thinks that he needs to. These weren't normal algos? Well, no, somebody was sweeping. So they were coming in here. They swept the legs out from underneath of us. But that was the thing, is this bar right here. This bar in particular. Right there. That one was, I was like, no. That's too weird. That's too crazy. We're like, it's going to reverse here. Well, then he did it again, and then there was the big buy, and then they did it again, and then it was kind of cleared its way out. But now I'm still kind of feeling like they're going to try and go again. I don't know. I don't know. And here again, you can kind of see where all the iffy ones were. Like that. That right there shouldn't have happened. That one should have been 200, and that one should have been, because I tried to cancel it and it wasn't fast enough. Anyways, I'm always like, oh man, gotta be so. Oh, did somebody give us a donation? I didn't even notice. Guys, I'm so terrible. I'm so terrible. Athiban, thank you very much, friend. He was way back. And I'm sorry, I know that some of you guys probably made a bunch of comments that I ignored or didn't answer while I was doing all that crazy stuff, because I was just like into it. I was like, okay, let's try and like fast scalp this and see what happens. I'm better, I have to say. I'll come over here. I have to say I'm doing better with that sort of thing. I fared much better this one. Last time we tried that sort of a thing, it was just a complete disaster and I was embarrassed, right? This time a little bit better, but still not my thing. Well, so we'll see what happens. I mean, gosh, look at them go down again. I don't think that they're done, but Where can you safely take it? That's a question. Okay, well, I will see you guys later. See you on Monday. Don't blow it all, and stay profitable, friends.